So these are the FBref reports from the two players that I'm suggesting Manchester United sign instead of RB Leipzig's £33 million rated Amadou Haidara in January. One is recording tackling and intercepting numbers that are challenging the likes of Ndidi and Kante, showing he's an elite level ball winner. The other one, despite his age, is producing elite level output to world class output, particularly when it comes to metrics that matter in the final third. So what do Manchester United actually need in January? Well, the areas of their game that could do with improving are their forward passing ability, and overall I do think they need a creative upgrade in central midfield, whilst the same could also be said for the right back position, with a creative attacking midfielder who could improve United's counter press and replace either Martial or Van der Beek, also being a good option in January as well. But before I get into that, for great quality current season football jerseys and retro jerseys of all the biggest clubs in the world from just £30 or less, go over to www.jerseyfifa.com. I myself have bought a few jerseys from Jersey FIFA, and my favourite is probably my Manchester United 2003-2004 shirt from Ronaldo's first season with his name on the back. And if you do get one of these shirts, not only will you be getting a great quality jersey for a fraction of the retail price, but you'll also be helping to support the channel as well. A link will be left in the description, and use code ATLANTISFOOTBALL to get 5% off. So despite me making this video, I actually do rate Amadou Haidara, and I'll go into more detail in a future video which should be out soon, so subscribe for that. But I do think that these two players who I'm going to mention in this video are both superior to him, with both being elite already in specific central midfield roles. Haidara is an all-action box-to-box midfielder, and I would compare him to previous players like Roy Keane or Patrick Vieira, or current players like Leon Goretzka or Nicolo Barella, in the sense that he's pretty good in all aspects of his central midfield duty, being a very good standing tackler when pushing up to apply pressure, and being able to break up opposition counterattacks, using his athleticism, composure and tackling ability, whilst also being a very good carrier of the ball, able to drive the ball up the pitch through the centre of the field. And whilst he isn't what I would describe as a playmaker, largely due to his lack of elite level creativity from deeper positions, as someone like Rodri has, he can still be extremely important in terms of progressing the ball forward and creating and scoring in the final third. See, there's quite a few different roles to play in central midfield, varying from system to system. And to be fair, I do think Football Manager does a good job of accurately describing a lot of these roles and assigning them with individual names, while some are too niche and vague. The main ones are quite helpful for giving terminology to distinguish between them. You have a ball winner, whose main job is to, as the name suggests, win the ball back in the centre of the pitch, whether that's in a press or breaking up attacks. Players like Ndidi, Kante and Casemiro are all ball winners. One of the players in this video also falls into this category. This player can play in a midfield too, or as a single pivot, in what you would call the anchorman role. But you also have deep lying creators like Toni Kroos, Jorginho and Rodri, and historically players like Pirlo and Xabi Alonso also would fall into this bracket as well. These players have the primary job of progressing the ball into the middle and final thirds, whether that's through their ball carrying or passing, and anything in the final third is also a bonus. When I refer to a player as a regista, this is what I mean, though a regista is more someone like Rodri than Kroos, who is also a ball winner and can sit deep behind the play, usually deployed as a single pivot in a midfield three, or as a more defensive player in a double pivot in a two-man central midfield. A roaming playmaker is a player like Pogba or Yaya Toure, who progress the ball forward like central midfielders, but get further up the pitch into positions to create and score around the box like attacking midfielders. The other player in this video is a box-to-box midfielder if I had to pin him down, which means like Haidara, he has the ability to participate significantly in the opposition's and his own box. That player is Jude Bellingham, who burst onto the football scene aged just 16 at Birmingham, and then got a move to Borussia Dortmund in the summer of 2020, aged just 17. He's only 18 now, 19 in June, but already he's producing elite level output, which we'll be able to see when we look at his FBref report in just a minute. Bellingham, like Haidara, is an all-round midfielder, capable of winning the ball back in the centre of the park, usually through holding him up and putting in a well-timed standing tackle. This is well suited to an aggressive pressing style like Ranić's, as playing in a midfield double pivot in the 4-2-2 system. Bellingham will have a similar ability to Fred in terms of being able to push out of the midfield line and apply pressure to the opposition's deeper lying midfielder, looking to win the ball back in the final third. But he also has fantastic athleticism, able to shuttle over to the flanks and provide defensive cover in order to break up attacks. On the ball, Bellingham isn't going to sit deep and spray passes out wide and into players between the lines as a deep line playmaker would. Instead, he's going to use his ball carrying ability to drift past players in central midfield, looking to work the ball up the pitch with quick interplay with his teammates, or through his own dribbling. In the final third, Bellingham is more of a Frank Lampard type of midfielder than more of a creative type like a Paul Scholes or a Mesut Ozil, meaning that rather than sitting between the lines and being the side's main creator in attack, he instead makes penetrating runs into goal scoring positions around the box, and when he gets into these positions, his ball control, composure, decision making, vision and finishing ability all resemble that of a top level attacking midfielder. Before I go any further, just a reminder that I do have a Patreon where for £5 a month each week you'll get 2 exclusive videos, one of which will be a Manchester United video specifically, and you'll also get a weekly newsletter as well, so click the link in the description to sign up to my Patreon. It would help support the channel and would be very much appreciated. In Manchester United's midfield, Bellingham is going to be sitting deep when the ball is in the build-up phase and in Manchester United's half, but he's also going to be trying to look to make runs ahead of play, trying to get in behind the opposition's midfield line. In the final third, he can then look to make runs ahead of the forward line, providing a goal scoring threat from midfield that United don't currently have without Pogba in the side. When we look at Bellingham's FBref report over the last 365 days, when compared against every other player in that position around Europe, we can see how good he's been. He ranks in the 63rd percentile for tackles completed, the 41st for interceptions, the 85th for pressures, and the 97th for blocks, which tells us that Bellingham isn't a fantastic ball winner. He's competent, but his real ability without the ball is his energy and pressing ability, which is exactly what is needed from a central midfielder in Rangnick's 4-2-2 system. In terms of his possession metrics, Bellingham shows that he's up there with Europe's elite, ranking in the 94th percentile for progressive passes received, the 96th for touches and dribbles completed, though his progressive carries and progressive passes could be higher, ranking in the 63rd and 44th percentile respectively. This shows that Bellingham is not an elite progressor of the ball in the middle third, but he's still very good, and it's when we look at his goal scoring and creating metrics that we can see how good he is. He ranks in the 90th percentiles for all of non-penalty XG plus expected assists, non-penalty XG, and he ranks in the 85th percentile for non-penalty goals with 0.14 per 90. This shows that Bellingham's real ability is in the final third rather than in the middle third. Like Bellingham, my other Haidara alternative stands out statistically in the FBref reports. Aurelien Tchouameni is a ball-winning central midfielder who is a 21-year-old French international currently at Monaco, where he has a contract until 2024. Tchouameni is a fantastic tackler, having the athleticism to race back with an opposition attacker and put in a well-timed sliding tackle to break up the counter-attack, or he can push out of the midfield line to apply pressure to an opposition midfielder, having the concentration and technique to put in a standing tackle to win the ball back high up the pitch. His reading of the game is fantastic, able to read a pass and then make a move to intercept the ball. I would say that Tchouameni in the next few seasons will move into that bracket of elite ball-winning central midfielders like Idrissa Gueye, Kante and Ndidi, but I actually think that Tchouameni is better in possession than all of those three, as not only is he very good technically, he also has the athleticism and strength to drive through a press, allowing his side to bypass the opposition's pressing system. He's also a very good long passer as well, able to switch the play efficiently or create a goal scoring opportunity with a lofted cross over the back line. Tchouameni, like Haidara, would give United that tenacity and industry in the centre of the park that Fred and to a lesser degree McTominay lack. Just by looking at his FBref report, we can see how good he is. He ranks in the 98th percentile for tackles completed in the last 365 days, and the 97th for interceptions, which is absolutely phenomenal. Even though his pressure numbers are much lower, that is largely because of the system he plays in under Kovac at Monaco. For a ball-winning central midfielder, he also ranks highly for progressive passes, sitting in the 74th percentile, whilst also sitting in the 67th for progressive carries and the 64th for dribbles completed. His goal scoring and creative metrics as well also look decent for a defensive midfielder, so I think Tchouameni can rightfully be categorised as a multi-dimensional defensive midfielder who is also extremely capable when his side have the ball. Tchouameni currently plays in a midfield double pivot in Kovac's 4-2-3-1, which becomes a 3-2-5 shape in possession, and in Rangnick's 4-2-2 system, Tchouameni will be able to play the role of United's deepest central midfielder, dropping deep to collect passes from the back line, whilst also sitting behind the ball when United move into the final third. So despite Bellingham being more of a box-to-box midfielder, providing goal-scoring threat in the final third, whereas Tchouameni is more of a ball winner, doing most of his best work in the middle and defensive third, I think both players would be better alternatives to Amadou Haidara in that central midfield position. Ideally, I think in the summer United would go out and get Bellingham and Tchouameni in central midfield, as I think both would work perfectly together in Rangnick's 4-2-2 system or a system similar under a different manager. So if United could get either in January, I would prioritise those deals over a deal for Haidara, who is very good but a level below those two in my opinion. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. For more exclusive content, which is 2 extra videos a week and a weekly newsletter, go over to my Patreon. It will be linked in the description below, along with some other videos that I feel you may enjoy as well.